Welcome back to another episode of Two Joes and a Pro. As always, you got Kenny, Ryan, and Brian up here, and we just had a mini episode before we started this. Me and Ryan were going at it for about 45 minutes.
It's been all week with us. It's been
and really, it's not. It's just a lot of big bro, little bro action going on, right? He's trying to give me the noogie, and I'm like, I ain't going for it, right? That's what it really is. But anyway, go ahead.
We could talk about it a little bit later, but it's just I do want to discuss a little bit because we've been going back and forth about this fantasy football trade for a while, and we'll just chat about it later.
So I just want to say, actually, let me ask Brian. Brian, how you doing? I don't want to be rude. I'm a little fired up, so let me not be rude. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm good. Just got some bad news in the media, but
yeah, let's get to it right now, right? Let's we normally don't talk a lot about the NBA, but guess what? Brian's going to take this segment. So Brian, go ahead, hit on it real quick.
Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka just got suspended for the whole year for having a consensual sexual relationship with a female staffer on the Celtics staff. But it's against team policy.
What's against team policy?
And so
having a relationship with somebody on the staff.
Yeah.
What if the players were sleeping with each other?
Ime Udoka is like...
that's...
Okay. Udoka is in charge of the rest of the staff, basically. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like a boss.
That's just like a head coach dating a trainer, right?
Who's suspended all year?
He is the head coach.
By the NBA?
But a team, the Celtics.
No, by the Boston Celtics.
Celtics violation.
Yes, and they said they'd discuss his future at a later time.
That's a little. I think that's extra. Like, if it's different if it was like assault, harassment, something like that. But the fact that both of them want to have a relationship together, and then you're saying, "Oh, you can't do that because it's against team violence." Then okay, you suspend them, right? I mean, but you suspend them a whole year, and then on top of that, now you're saying the guy that got you to the NBA Finals last year in his first year, you're saying, now your future's in jeopardy. Like what? But
I think there's more to the story that we don't know.
There has to be something.
Like I don't know. Like, does Brad Stevens have a daughter? And Ime's,
it has to be something like that. But I don't think it's a Brad Stevens thing, right? Because Brad Stevens is just a GM, correct?
Well, yeah, but he's in charge of.
So he's the one that actually.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
This came
right?
from the ownership.
So like, I mean, it depends on does the ownership have the daughter or something like that. You see what I'm saying?
It could be. I don't know, man.
Be tied to
something. Yeah. I think it was something like that. I think there's family involved
because it's a little too harsh for them.
And like,
yeah,
right. It seems very vindictive.
Comparative to you had to damn near have the whole NBA protest for the Suns owner saying all these racist comments and things like that, right? And still then they're like, oh, he's just gonna get suspended until LeBron and all them like, nah, bro, that's not good enough, right? If the Clippers owner had to get out of there, he should too, right? And they had to pretty much is that blackball? What's it called when you put the like it's like a gray cloud over you? What's it called? I forgot the word. I forgot what the proper word is. Guilt trip him. Yeah, guilt trip him into saying, okay, I'm going to sell the team. Sorry, not the great cloud, right? The guilt trip him to say he has to sell the team, right? So, man, I think that's crazy, but we're not. It's something deeper.
Yeah, like, it has to be. And on top of that, obviously, the Celtics already lost Gallinari for the year, and their center Rob Williams just had knee surgery, so he's gonna be out for a couple months. So it's like, man, going from like the favorites to this is demoralizing for the team, and so it just sucks, especially for me because I'm a fan. But
how important is a coach?
They're gonna have to.
How important is him because he's a defensive minded coach, so it's totally different. You know what I mean?
But not only that, the importance of a coach is being able to handle all of the personalities on the team. And he was effective at doing that. Brad Stevens was not. Brad Stevens is a good coach, but not at the pro level because it's harder to get grown men sometimes to get along with the team concept, because you think about it, they're all stars coming into the league, and then they're not all stars in the league, but they still have that mindset. So, you got guys like Marcus Smart.
He's
this greatest, and like he's a really great player. I'll give him that, but he ain't. No, he needs to give the ball up to Jason and Jalen. Those are the studs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just, so Ime is good at massaging those egos and getting everybody into that team concept, because ultimately basketball is a team sport at the end of the day, regardless of how great superstars can be. You have to,
and I think the respect level that for Emu compared to Brad Stevens is different. I think they respect him, and he's been there, and he's a hard nosed type of coach, and you respect that more than Brad Stevens, who's kind of a soft guy. I want to be cool with everybody, and it's totally different. You're going to get out of a Marcus Smart where Emu tells him, "Hey, tighten up," and he's like, "Okay." Compared to Brad Stevens, he said he might say, "Shut your ass up," right? Like something like that, right? Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He's being elite to get that respect, right? It's like the military, when you have a enlisted turn and become an officer, like people give him more respect because like, oh, you've been in my shoes before, compared to an officer just going straight out of school, right? Anyway, I got one question before we continue on, right? They had put out the top 25, I believe, list, right? And there's a couple people that a couple names that's ahead of some people that kind of shook things up. So I wanted your take, Brian, because you're a Celtics fan. Do you really think Jason Tatum is better than Kevin Durant?
Oh, he's
a Durant hater. He's a
the one. No. I'm not a Durant hater. I've always felt like Durant's kind of soft, but he's still a great player regardless. Durant's a better offensive player. He's more of a cold killer still. But I'd take Tatum's defense.
Is he a better? If you had to take one player, Jason Tatum or Kevin Durant, are you taking Jason Tatum? A game with 21. A game with 21.
Win a game.
A game to 11. 101 to 11.
I'm still taking
okay,
Durant.
Cool. Yeah. I thought you were about to say Tatum. What do you
mean not?
I just thought that was crazy. Yeah,
you already thought. You already predetermined what I was going to say.
I was a little surprised that LeBron is ahead of KD as well. Don't get me wrong. Bron is still high level. He's still skilled, but it's like, I think people are like underestimating how good Kevin Durant is. Like, bro is a bucket. He's gotten better on defense. You can't guard him, right? So it's like, it's weird how he's the 8th best player in the league, right? And I'm like, please tell me the other 5 that's better than him. Steph Curry, right? Because he's not on the list, right? LeBron's at 6, so Steph Curry. Who else? Like, I don't know. I can't think. I think this is just crazy to me. Anyway, college last week was good. It was quality games. I think this week is probably the most eventful week. Last week was a lot of like blowouts because this team's getting ready for conference week, right? So this week we have the Gators playing against Tennessee at Knoxville, which should be a good game. Ohio State is playing against Wisconsin at home. We have let me pull this up real quick. We had with the Wisconsin game
blowout though. Yeah, they're not.
It's always like that, right? They're not really good, but then for somehow they play tough. Right in the beginning, first half. I think that's going to be like a second half blowout game. First half, it should be all right. So you got Clemson versus Wake Forest, which is going to be a test for both teams. Is Wake Forest really that good, right? Is Clemson what we think? Should they be even ranked 5? I think they're a little overrated, but hey, we'll see that. Then you have a game that most people are like, why the hell are these two teams even ranked based off of their performance lately? So you got Arkansas, at 10, and then Texas A&M at 23, and it's like, both those teams haven't really impressed me. They haven't really played anybody. A&M is definitely the most unimpressive team so far. And then because they don't have a quarterback.
Why? You know why? No, you know why?
Because in the SEC,
where they're at.
Yeah, but
exactly.
It's not about it. Come on, like it's not. their team is still. Come on, man. There's not a lot of teams that's better than them, right? I'm just saying comparative to what that standard that they've been playing last year, they're not at the same level, right? So yeah, that's it. But other than that, it's not really too much any crazy games. You know, Alabama, we're not playing anybody, playing Vanderbilt. That's a blowout. I would say this last week, Oklahoma, they played Nebraska. It was supposed to be a close game. Nebraska came out the gate and they scored the first touchdown. And everybody's like, "Oh my gosh! I told you Nebraska's gonna come back because Frost got fired. I told you they're gonna come fired up." Blew them out by 50. Like it blew them out by 50, right? So I think it was like 40 something, but still it was bad. But yeah, that's all I got for college and a little bit of NBA. So.
All right, real quick, we'll go into baseball. Yankees hold 6.5 game lead on Toronto. They're going to hold on to that. There's only 2 weeks left of baseball of the regular season. The last games are on October 5th. And the Yankees are actually playing pretty well right now. They're 7-3 of the last 10. Stanton has finally woken up for them, which is going to be key coming down the stretch. I know, because he was colder than ice. Man, that guy was like you had to bench him. I felt like he was so bad. But it's so good for the Yankees. They're going to have both their power bats going into it. Speaking of power bats, Aaron Judge hit his 60th home run the other night. He'll probably end up getting 61, maybe 62 by the end of the series with the Red Sox because, you know, they're good. No. So he's going to pass the record.
The record is 62, right?
He's going to 61. Yeah, I think 62 is the record. Well, will be the record.
Wait, isn't there a movie called 61?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. You actually right person.
It was
but
pretty
anyways,
good.
AL Central. AL Central, real quick. Cleveland has now got a deciding 6-game lead on the White Sox, so they are going to clinch that division. And then Houston, I think, has already clinched the division, 16.5 ahead of Seattle. Let's see, the NL East. You got the Mets with only a 1-game lead over the Braves, but both teams have already clinched playoff spots, so they're really just fighting for home field. And then you got St. Louis with 7.5-game lead over Milwaukee. They will clinch that division. Milwaukee's still in the hunt for the wild card. And the Dodgers have already clinched like everything, basically, because they're a powerhouse. So, and yeah, that's about it.
I'm looking forward to the playoffs. Sorry, guys, I know y'all probably looking at the video. It's like, what's that stuff flickering? We're watching the game while we are, recording because you got to make sure we're in tune at all times, right? But no, like I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I think that's the best part of baseball. That's what I look forward to. So I'll be ready and locked and loaded, and hopefully the Yankees can get shit done this year instead of losing always in the division series. So.
Yeah, it's going to be either them or the Astros, honestly, out of the AL. I don't see any other team really making enough noise.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I would say this, though, before we move on. What about Aaron Judge's contract? One, I know I was going to save this for hot takes and hot cakes, right? But one, do you think that the way he's performing, he warrants getting that big-time contract? And then two, do you think that he stays a Yankee?
He does definitely deserve that contract. I don't know if he's gonna be a Yankee. I think he might contemplate going somewhere else
for a bigger bag or just a different scenery.
I don't know. I get mixed reviews on him. I feel like there might be something going on in New York where he's not as happy as he'd like to be, maybe. But that's just speculation. There's nothing.
Yeah.
To prove that, I know he said some like good things about the Boston fans the other day, and that got Boston media all spun up about, we're gonna go after Judge this offseason. Maybe if our GM isn't a cheap ass like he usually is, but the Yankees have more than enough room to get him under contract, so I anticipate that they'll make a good offer. So.
And if not, then we'll just do like we always do and be on full tilt and then overbuy everybody else, right? Like that's no way it happens. So
right, yeah,
yeah. What are you shaking your head for, Ryan? What are you shaking your head for? You watching highlights?
Nothing. Yeah. Just watching halftime, you know.
I looked at it too. I was like, damn, but anyway.
That catch was ridiculous.
For Pickens, right?
Pickens, that was ridiculous.
What we got for football?
Oh, we're going straight into it? Well, usually you pass it over to me.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
I know, Ryan, but it was a long pause.
You said
now
they catch. It was awkward because you said they catch. I was like, okay, that's good. So what you got?
All right, let me go
Ryan,
over some of
what do we have for NFL this week?
Are you done? You done?
You said you want me to introduce.
All right, cool, thanks. All right, let's go over some of the injuries from last week. James Conner went down with an ankle injury. I'm not sure how serious it is. You'll have to look at the practice schedules this week. He'll be good to play. He's like shocker. James Conner went down with an injury. Anytime he's been the lead dog and he hasn't been like splitting carries, he's gotten hurt. Let's go down the list. Jadeveon Clowney got ruled out with an ankle injury, so that kind of sucks for the Browns. I don't know if he's playing tonight though.
No.
Judy left with a shoulder injury, so that sucks for if you have the pass catchers, but if you have Cortland Sutton, that's good for you. Another injury that we had was Dalton Schultz. Supposedly it's not a crazy injury. Should miss maybe one game, supposedly. You want to say something, Brian? You look like you got that dumb look on your face.
No. I'm just wondering why you're burying the lead.
Which one?
Here.
The Mike Evans?
Come on. No, Trey Lance.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting there, man. It's in alphabetical order, homie.
We're like sitting here biting our fingernails for the anticipation. We're like, okay.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay.
And he wants to talk about...
I'm going down a list. It's in alphabetical order.
He's out for their game.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so the Giants lost Leonard Williams to a knee injury. And then... C, after N, we go to S. San Francisco 49ers lose Trey Lance to a broken ankle, and this dude's out for the year. So Jimmy G comes in. They get the W. The offense looked like it just ran better with Jimmy G. No offense. There's a reason why Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers front office did not get rid of Jimmy G. There's a reason, and this is why.
Just in case the project didn't work, go to Old Faithful.
Yeah. Jimmy G's about to get paid in the offseason.
No,
somebody.
They're going to keep him.
He's going to look good now.
I think that they're going to keep him and trade Trey Lance.
Maybe.
I saw something say the Giants, but I know that Ryan wouldn't be happy with that. But I think they're going to trade him. Like, people were saying the whole time that the offense looks lethargic. He doesn't look good. Like, they're not getting any flow. Where's San Francisco at? Then as soon as Jimmy G, it was like a faucet turn on. Everybody starts, oh my God, it's life. Like,
it looked like the team that went to the NFC Championship.
Dude, how funny is it? Kittle's like I think I could play now. Week 3, he's gonna come back. He's I'm good, guys. Let's do it. Dude, it's just the 49ers. They were a good team. They were in the championship game last year. Like, anytime Jimmy G's there, they are a solid team. They have a good defense. Play well on offense. I think Brandon Ayuk's not in the doghouse, so they can spread him the ball. If you are playing fantasy football, Debo has had a couple poor weeks. Not poor weeks, but like average weeks. You might want to target him because Garoppolo loves Debo. Garoppolo loves Debo. Anyways, and then the other big thing that happened last week was that Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore got into it and they both got ejected from the game. So Lattimore was talking trash to Bruce Arians on the sideline, which is another thing. Bruce Arians was supposed to be. Let me see if I remember this right. He was supposed to be in the press box, or he had a spot in the press box, but he wanted to be in the suites. But the home team didn't put New Orleans didn't put him in the suites. So instead of going into the press box, he was like, Todd Bowles let him go down to the sideline, and then he's going down to the sideline chirping at the players on the other team. So he's talking trash to Lattimore, and then Lattimore says some shit that Mike Evans didn't like. And
but
I
Brady
watched
first
it in
too,
slow. Yeah, Brady was in there too, and I watched it in slow motion, but it sounded like, or it looked like, he mouthed to Mike Evans, "Go get him!" Like, like,
like. But you know, it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because you see Tom Brady talk at first, right? And Mike Evans is walking towards Bruce Arians, even though like Mike Evans is coming behind. Yeah. And when he sees that, it looks like that would make sense if he said, "Go get him," because it's like Mike Evans turned around and went full fledged, boom. You know what I mean? And then Mike Evans said, "What was I supposed to do? What was I supposed to do?" I was like, "What do you mean, bro? You almost knocked him out of his shoulder pads."
Dude, Mike Evans is a dog, though. That's the kind of player that you want on your team. Like, he did that and then like spun around, like looking like, who's coming at me? Like, he was getting ready to fight. He was getting ready to throw it out.
Yeah. He set the tone though. Like after that, then they like actually like they were upset, had some life, right? Bring him in your foxhole.
He is suspended one game. He appealed it, and the NFL upheld it, so he will miss this week's game. The Bucs are playing the Packers, right?
Yep.
They're playing the Packers, so like Bucs look like trash. I mean, they're 2-0, but like they don't look great.
You thought they looked good last week?
Their offense is stagnant, but their defense is actually what I'm impressed with. Yeah. I think their defense.
But I thought that's expected though. I think we all expected defense to be there, right?
I don't know. They lost some guys up front. You know, JPP, Sue. You know, a couple of veterans they lost off. But
I think I saw something. JPP's gonna sign with the Ravens.
Yeah, he just signed. Yep, he just signed with the Ravens. And Cole Beasley just signed to the Bucs.
To the Bucs, yeah.
Right. And
they're getting desperate.
Clearly, apparently, you were right, Kenny. Russell Gage is not it. Or at least he hasn't been.
Dude, they've got a lot of injuries. You remember when we were talking, week 1 went by and we're like, dude, Julio looks good, man. He looks good. Yeah. My hamstring.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, remember when you said, yeah, I think it's just an old man thing. They got him rested up. You know, as long as he stays healthy, he doesn't even play the game. We like,
yeah.
He wasn't even on the injury report. Like, what are you talking about?
Dude, this guy.
He plays 1 week and has 2 off. That's his regimen.
Is a mess.
He got one off schedule.
One thing I will say though, if you thought that you listened to the offseason hype about Leonard Fournette coming in overweight, Leonard Fournette's going to get the ball this year. He ran. I think I read a stat. He ran a route on 70% of the pass plays that they ran. Like he's going to get the ball, especially in PPR. Like as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be an RB1. No one's getting the ball, but
and then to that point, if he was overweight, all these routes that he running, he gonna cut the weight. He ain't gonna be heavy no more. Like,
yeah, the Packers wide receivers can't stay healthy. I think I looked at their injury report. Like all of their wide receivers are either limited or not practicing. Alan Lazard came back week 1 and left with an injury. Christian Watson has an injury. Sammy Watkins didn't practice this week. He's got an injury. Like,
hey, it's the Aaron Jones show.
Aaron Jones and then Mr. 20 carries, AJ Dillon. Like that's what they're gonna do.
What did you think about him last week, Ryan?
AJ?
Yeah.
I mean, he's their short yardage back.
Yeah, I'm saying like he doesn't. Maybe just last week or whatever, he fumbled the ball once, and then I feel like since they were giving Aaron Jones more action, it was like as if his energy changed, right? Like I didn't feel like he was running the ball the same. He wasn't running hard. Like I don't know.
He looked like he was not looking for the gap, and he was just like going with getting the pile to get like 3 or 4 yards. So I don't know if he wasn't going for big plays. Maybe the coach was like, we're just trying to drown this game out. Let's try and get out of here. So maybe he was just getting the 3-4 yards and then running the clock out. I don't know. Ooh, let me go through who we got from last week. Okay, big things from last week. Tell me about Tua. They were up 35-7, I think, at one point, or 28-7. The Ravens were up 28-7, and And then
fourth quarter.
yeah, you know what? Let me pull up the box score. Maybe I'll see when did they score all their points. But anyways, if you had Tua, if you had Waddle, if you had Tyreek Hill,
you good.
You got like 40, 50 points from each one of those in fantasy last week.
If you had them,
Ravens
you
should
good.
be humiliated. Like,
Yeah, the Ravens defensive coordinator should have been fired on the spot.
but that wasn't just the only game that let up a lot of points. The Browns are used to this, but they let up a ton of points at the end of the game to the Jets, no less.
Yeah,
Garrett
that's
Wilson
sickening.
is here to stay. I think he's the best rookie wide receiver. Well, behind Jahan Dotson, but Jahan Dotson's that's not a real one. That's not a real one to me because he's not getting a lot of targets. He's getting like 4, 5, 6 targets a game, and then he just lucks out and gets the touchdowns. Like Garrett Wilson is good, but Zach Wilson's coming back, which is not a positive for him.
I think that's a bonehead move. Number 1 for me for the year. Draft him and then I'll release him after week 1. Garrett Wilson.
Oh, which one, Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, I let him go after week 1, right? I just hope that, Zach Wilson makes me right by just going to Elijah Moore. So I'm like, oh, see, I knew it. All right. But he looks super explosive.
I think you might get a quarterback controversy in New York. Zach Wilson comes back and doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Why not keep riding Flacco? Yeah. He seems to be playing all right.
Yeah.
He made a comeback. He was making some good throws. He looked like I feel like the receivers and like the whole team, Bryce Hall, all them guys making him feel young, right? He swears he still has a step, even though he's definitely old, but I don't know. It was impressive coming back though.
My Lions, my darling team, the Lions, they're 1-1. They came back and beat Washington. They put up 36 points. Amon St. Brown is a receiver out of nowhere. I mean, I think he's got one of the longest streaks of like at least 8 catches and a touchdown or 6 catches and a touchdown. I think it's 8 games. Since Michael Thomas. Like, that's a pretty good streak. The Lions are playing well. Jared Goff is nothing impressive, but I mean, Wentz is somehow like the QB4 on the season after those first 2 weeks. Expect that to go down this week when they're playing the Eagles. Stomped the Vikings.
Yeah.
You don't think he's going to perform well versus the Eagles?
Eagles have a good defense.
We'll see. He might.
Yeah, I think it's going to be weird. I think he's going to perform.
We have confirmed that once those lights turn on and that Monday night music plays, Kirk Cousins cannot play football.
That's a fact.
He cannot. He's terrible.
It's
so
Cousin
bad.
Kurt on Monday Night Football. Cousin Kurt.
Another team, Brian, you can go ahead and write your apology story now about Matt Ryan is not going to be an MVP.
Nowhere close.
Hey man, that was what was it?
Shot in the dark, right?
Yeah,
like crazy
yeah,
take.
yeah,
That's
right?
what it was.
Yeah, come on, man.
Well,
Well, that
crazy.
take is done.
Yeah, they can't do anything without Michael Pittman.
We're only 2 weeks in.
It was the Jaguars. It was the Jaguars.
The Jaguars are not bad though, right? I don't think the
like
Jaguars
them.
is that bad, but the fact that they blew them out 24-0 was it was like
Yeah.
Especially with the run game.
I mean, but let's also remember this: Matt Ryan's played the majority of his games inside of a dome, and they were in Jacksonville, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
But what does that have to do with
well
handing the
outside.
ball off? What does that have to do with the defense? Like,
Well, the coach didn't call the run plays. That was the problem. What I think, what's his face? Jonathan Taylor only had like
I think
10
less
carries.
than
or
if
something
that,
like
I thought he had like 8.
Seven or
Something
8,
like-
yeah.
I don't know. I would be giving him at least 15, 20 carries.
I
a game.
thought that for sure. I thought he was going to at least get a 30, 40 carry game. Like it's going to be heavy. So that surprised me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he still averaged
Oh, yeah.
over 6 yards a carry, though. So
and that was all in the
washed
second
up,
half.
isn't he?
I would say washed up for fantasy purposes, like I said. I didn't say he's washed up as a player. I said fantasy purposes, that what you drafted him. So you tell me think about it, right? You tell me all the people that had him last week after the first week. You think they even thought, oh my gosh, he's going to put a dud? No, everybody's like, oh yeah, he's going to give me 20 easy, 20. You saw what they gave him for week 1? 20. And he went out there and he had 7 points, 8 points? Like, be like, huh? What? I know.
Hey,
okay.
I want to go say her name.
Relax. We're getting the running backs have been trashed. The best running back in the league right now, so far through 2 weeks, has been Nick Chubb in terms of fantasy points.
Mm-hmm. That's because he scored like 3 touchdowns.
But he did well week 1. And another player that's probably been good is like CEH is in like the top 5. Like in terms of running backs,
trade him.
It's just been bad for running backs in general. Dalvin Cook's he's gonna have 3 touchdowns this week. I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
That's bold. It's almost close as bold as Matt Ryan.
That's my bold statement. Hey, the Giants are 2-0. I don't know
who.
That's it.
It might be 3-0.
No, they're playing Cowboys in prime time. We're gonna lose.
Yeah, but they have
neither do we.
Rush didn't look bad now. Rush didn't look bad. I think that Dayball is a hell of a coach. I want to ask you this, Ryan. Right? What do you think about Kenny Galladay not playing all the money?
You know what? This coach and the GM came in and said, I don't care what the previous regime paid you. If you made the roster, you made the roster, but they're gonna go based on game plan. Dude, the week before, what's his name? Kadarius Toney had two plays. He played a lot more snaps, but he didn't get targets. He got like some end around plays. Like he's going with Richie James.
Yeah.
He's going with Sterling Shepard. He's going with guys that know the offensive system.
Yeah.
And Kadarius Toney, as good as he is talent-wise, I don't think he knows the playbook.
No.
So he's not going to put someone out there that's going to be a liability. He just wants to go out and run routes. And maybe it's like his way of lighting a fire under Kenny Galladay because Kenny has like called out the team basically like, no, I need to get more snaps. I need to get more. So who knows? But
yeah, I thought I read something Kenny Galladay was like, yeah, I'm pissed, man. Like, y'all don't pay me money for nothing. But to see, like, I just thought that the Giants just overpaid him. Like, I like Kenny Galladay, right?
Yeah.
Baby Megatron and all that stuff, right? But what has he done since 3 years ago? Nothing, bro.
You're right. He's
definitely
not
healthy.
Overpaid him.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not healthy. He doesn't. I don't.
The last regime for the Giants had a poor history of overpaying players that weren't very
Soldier
good.
too, right?
Facts.
It wasn't just Kenny Galladay. Yes, Soldier was the big one.
Well, I mean, we got some right. There was the cornerback we got from Carolina, Bradbury. He had a Pro Bowl year with him.
I didn't let him go.
And then we let him go. But
well, because they couldn't afford him. They were paying other people.
Well, Leonard Williams has paid off. He's been good. We paid him. He almost didn't, but we ended up paying. He's hurt now, but he wasn't last year. Anyways, Patriots beat the Steelers. The Steelers at home, so that was only by 3. I can't explain how not impressed I am with Mac Jones, but that's just that. Their number 1 wide receiver is Jacoby Myers. Brian was wrong. He can't get in the end zone still, so that's still going to be a problem for him. But if you play PPR, I would pick up Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I would ask Brian to explain himself. You said something that I thought was interesting. You said that the Patriots are still the number 2 team in the league. I mean, in their conference or their division, right? Not the division.
Their division?
Yeah.
Division, yeah.
Yeah, in their division.
I broke it down, right? League, conference, division.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You still stand on that?
He's
okay.
No.
All right, thank you. That's all we want.
That's all we want to hear. Just saying on tape.
Going down the list. I'm surprised, but the Falcons were able to hang 27 on the Rams. That's a lot of points. But the Rams still won.
That was a lot of foot off the gas action at the end. They weren't. The Rams was not doing nothing. They were like whatever.
Oh. Great.
The Rams were trying to do what the Ravens did. We don't have to play the rest of this game. We already won it.
Drake London had a game. Kyle Pitts is invisible. So I don't know. Maybe they switched jerseys.
Yeah, but I feel like Ramsey was on Pitts a lot that game too, though. because he's been playing a lot more out of the slot this year.
He was guarding Drake London too towards the end, but guess what? Drake London was still getting the targets. And what Arthur Smith said, I'm not here for fantasy. I was like, damn, bro, we get that. Like, but you're one of your top options on your team, and you giving him 2 targets. Like, let's be serious, bro. You got to make some plays for him, something. Like, golly.
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna hit 3 things real quick. 1, the Bills are gonna be favored every game, and I just take them as favorites. They're so good. The Bills are so good. The Packers beat the Bears, but they don't look great. I'm sorry, they just don't look great. The Cardinals came back and beat the Raiders. The Raiders are 0-2. That's bad. Kyler willed that team to a victory, but Mr. Me Guy, he did all the work. He ran 84 yards on a 2-point conversion. He ran 84 yards on a 2-point conversion. And the Bengals need to right the ship. If they go 0-3, things are is bad. But they lost to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
At Dallas to Cooper Rush. They don't lose that game. A Super Bowl team should not lose that game.
I have nothing to say to that. I agree. The Bengals just look terrible, man. Like,
but their defenses looked good, so I don't know what's going on.
It's Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
their defense doesn't look good. They happen to play one of the worst offenses in the league in Week 1 in Pittsburgh, who scored most of their points on defense. Okay, like you can't sit there and say that the Bengals defense looks good. Who have they played? And then they played a backup quarterback.
All right, well then by that logic, the Patriots defense looks like trash too.
No, the Patriots defense did better than the Ravens defense against Tua. So how do you like that, Apples?
Speaking of Tua, we're gonna go right into the hot cakes, right? I got a question about Tua. Who deserves more credit for his success? Do you think his teammates or is it Mike McDaniel?
Ooh, both.
Ooh, it's both. None of it's him.
I will say this.
Listen,
give Tua a break, but he's not. No, he has to be accurate. He has to get the ball to them. He's checking to the right place. His offensive coordinator or the head coach, Mike McDaniels, is that his name again? He's scheming up some good ways to get these guys the ball, and a lot of times they're wide open. They're wide open, and then they're just making a lot of yak. So I think it's a mixture of both, but I don't count Tua as like a bad quarterback. I think he's better than Mac Jones.
I think it's Mike McDaniel. Like the fact that he's calling plays that is the best suited for Tua, right? I don't really don't get me wrong, right? Tyreek Hill is a hell of a player, but the routes that he was running, anybody could have ran the routes and got open, right? Like the deep balls, okay, I get that. Anybody with speed, let me say that. Take that back. Anybody with speed could have did that. But it's like a lot of the plays, when they run the mesh concepts, a lot of the hooks and stuff like that, those slants, like that fits Tua's pocket because that's what he was successful with at Alabama. And for him to come in and know that, I think that's like more tribute to him rather than the teammates around him. Like the run game hasn't really done anything, right? If it's besides Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, Gesicki had a good catch, right? Besides them two, though, it's like, what's the difference, right? So, all right. Second question is going to be, are the Eagles for real?
Yes. My preseason prediction for them was 13 wins. I think they're a very improved team, and they've surrounded Jalen Hurts with talent. And what all of the Alabama quarterbacks have in common is they come from Alabama where they're surrounded by talent. That's why they look so good. So when you surround them with talent, they know what to do with the ball. So that's as simple as that.
You agree with that, Ryan?
I'm not ready to say that. They played a quarterback that is allergic to Monday Night Football. They gave up 35 points to the Lions and almost lost in Week 1. So I think that you're right. Their offense is good. Their defense is still suspect. Slay had a game and a half. And I think when they start playing these teams that have better pass rushing and they put pressure on Hurts, he's going to make some inaccurate throws. And it's going to cost them some more games. So I'm just not ready to call it yet. They've played the Lions and then Kirk Cousins on Monday night.
Okay. I'm going to go to the next question. So there's been a lot of rumor about Sean Payton talking about coming back to coach next year, right? So in you guys' opinion, what would be the best spot for him, given, he has the option, he has a choice, in your opinion?
Brian, do you have? I'm trying to think.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Sean Payton comes back, and he has a choice?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who's going to have openings next year. I could see Pete Carroll retiring at some point. I mean, he's like one of the oldest coaches in the league.
He is the oldest coach, head coach.
I mean, I could see him retiring. I can't see him coaching up there. I don't know. I know he'd probably want to coach for the Giants, but if Daboll has a decent year, they're not going to get rid of him.
You think he wouldn't coach for the Giants for real?
I mean, he used to be their coordinator. He came from that system. He has ties to the Giants.
Okay.
Front office.
Yep.
I say Panthers.
That one I wasn't. Oh, I mean, they're gonna have an opening.
What?
Panthers.
The Patriots? Yeah, because I was going to say the Patriots.
Head coach?
Yes.
Hold on.
If they listen, this is a hot take, but if Bill Belichick doesn't turn that offense around, I could see him getting. I could see Kraft saying bye bye.
That's different, Ryan. I didn't expect to hear that of him.
Listen, preseason before the season started, Robert Kraft was quoted saying that he doesn't like that they haven't won a playoff game in 3 years. He's not happy with the performance of the team. So this is year 3 after Brady. Got to show something.
What if he goes to the Texans? I mean, they I know they got a new coach first year. That was.
I don't think that suits him.
Yeah.
He also, I think there was a report from ESPN today that was saying that it had him quoted, Sean Payton, saying that he wants to go somewhere with a good organization. Does the Texans speak good organization to you, Ryan?
But But the only one on that list.
He's going to
the Patriots or Seattle. Seattle's a good organization.
I don't know if he want to go there though.
I mean, or the Giants if they had an opening, but Daboll.
What about Atlanta?
They're not going to fire Daboll, but I don't think that's considered
I know,
a good
but
organization.
No, they were not get rid of. It's not his fault.
No,
he's a guy. I think he's a good coach.
But you don't think they would want something different, like
Chicago? But they're not a good organization.
No.
But they're
no.
I'm just going based on coaches that are probably going to get fired.
Man.
No.
What if he goes to Denver?
Broncos? Yeah. That one I could see.
That could happen.
Yeah.
And he's used to playing with a shorter quarterback.
Hackett don't want
Breeze, and then Russell Wilson. He can do similar things.
That would be
Russell
nasty though.
Oh, there it is. There it is. We got it, guys. We got there.
Hey, just keep putting
teamwork.
Yeah, that's it, right? Speaking of Matt Rule, right? Do you guys think he's way over his head as an NFL coach? Nick Saban effect.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, something ain't clicking there. I don't know why.
Every quarterback has played the same. They've had the same outcome.
It's not looking good.
Well, except for PJ, because he's undefeated.
There's something with the scheme,
but they're not letting him spin, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, but they don't let him play. Yeah, there's something going on, like the scheme, something like how do you not scheme up plays for your best players?
Do you think their quarterbacks that they have is actually good though?
I feel like Baker's probably the best one that they've had.
Yeah, but in my opinion, Baker was very similar when he was playing in Denver or in Cleveland.
Cleveland, yeah.
They were not they didn't have a top viable receiver that they were chucking the ball to. So him getting the ball, he always just threw it to everyone, and he got bailed out a lot by his running back. Mm-hmm. They never really. They need to use. They used to see him see a lot more of this last week. He had a lot more yards from scrimmage. The Giants played a defense that they were going to let him run the ball, but then they were going to tighten up in the red
I did want to mention something about Dan Orlowski. That's how you say it? Orlowski. How do you say his last name?
Oh yeah.
Orlowski, right? You guys showed me that video of him talking about, oh man, it's easy to see. Bro, the 6-yard, 5-yard thing, that's common across every team you play, right?
Coming from the guy that was coached by Matt Rule.
Yeah, like that's, but even in New York, it was similar, right? Right? You 6 yards, really, you just say, okay, put 5.5, right? My foot is going to be on the heels of the quarterback. Yeah, right? But you can still pass protect out of all that. It's the same thing if you have your foot at 5 yards, if you're even with them, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to pass. I could run an outside zone the same way. I could do a counter the same way, right? So the way he made it seem as if it was like elementary, that it was like, oh, that's absurd. Well, to me, it kind of pissed me off a little bit because I felt like he was trying to do it for a hot take. Like, yeah, you show the clips that it happened, but it's a lot of teams that do similar things the same way, right? So to me, that kind of pissed me off a little bit. I just wanted to mention that. Just in case I see him in the streets. You know what I mean?
Get him, Kenny.
So, okay. We got 2 more questions for you guys. Who is you guys' most disappointing player in fantasy football at this point in time? Before we get to Ryan Fantasies. Ryan?
Go ahead.
Football player right now?
Huh?
Most disappointing fantasy football player?
Yeah. In your opinion, personal.
Derrick Henry. Disappointed.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good one.
He was averaging like 20 points a game last year. And the Titans, just in general, they were supposed to be. They were in the AFC, they were the AFC #1 seed last year, and they're about to be 0-3.
Yeah. Oh, calling it early. What about you, Brian?
I got Dalvin Cook on there. I feel like it's the same situation. There was a lot of preseason hype that they're supposed to be a playoff team this year, and they have not looked good, and he has not been running the ball very well. And fantasy-wise, it hasn't been there. What did he get last week? Like 5 points?
I have Jonathan Taylor.
You know?
I'm just playing, give y'all a job. No.
Of course you do.
Yeah. In my opinion, it's really, I know it's going to sound crazy, it's really Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, I think both of them together, like, yeah, compared to other quarterbacks, they look good, but to their standard, they don't really look impressive. Like, it's like, it's just like mediocre in my opinion for where they normally play at. So
both those quarterbacks are in fantasy in previous years are set it and forget it. Mm-hmm. Now you're at the point where, like, in one league, I was considering benching him for Marcus Mariota.
Who?
Rodgers. Like,
I said the same thing for Brady for Tua. I switched mine. I put Tua in the starting over Brady, which is weird in my opinion.
Yeah, because Buffalo's defense is playing well, but
listen,
I do it.
You guys gotta give these quarterbacks a break, all right? They both are like about to or have already gone through divorces. Okay, Aaron Rodgers lost his boo, Devontae Adams, and now there's speculation that Brady and Giselle are splitting up. So just leave the men alone, okay? They got some stuff they're dealing with.
But yeah, man, that's all I got for hot takes, hot cakes, man. I'll leave it to you, Ryan, for Ryan's fantasies.
Hey, real quick, starting quarterbacks this week. You can trust in Matthew Stafford because he's playing against the Arizona Cardinals, and their defense has looked garbage.
God awful.
He is gonna slice them up. They're not gonna have an answer for Cooper Kupp this week. I think Burrow has a bounce back week. Kirk Cousins is not playing Monday night game, so he should be good to go against the Lions. So those are the quarterbacks I like this week. So running backs this week. I'm going to admit that I was wrong, Brian. And James Robinson is good at football, and the Achilles injury is not affecting him, and he's playing very well. So, I would start him.
He is available for trade, though.
Of course. David Montgomery.
Holla at your boy.
Houston Texans. David Montgomery's playing well. He's getting like the bulk of the carries.
And he's running hard.
Yep. And then for Kenny, Tony Pollard. against the Giants. We are very bad against receiving running backs.
I don't even know if you call him a receiving running back right now, because I think they really don't even bang with Zeke. I think they're giving Zeke carries because of the contract, but like his usage is not like as if it's a player they want to get the ball. You agree with that or no?
No, I agree. I think they're giving him the short yardage carries, but like it's either their offense can't get going or like because like in the first game he was getting some good chunk yardage, but then they fell behind and they couldn't use it. They couldn't use him. So like they're in spurts. Zeke looks good, but like if they need a spark on offense, it ain't going to be Zeke. If they're a favorite in a game, Zeke's going to be the guy you want. But if it's like a close game or they're trying to win, Pollard might be their best option.
So besides daily fantasy, if you had him in a league, right, would you trade Ezekiel Elliott right now?
If you can, yeah. But if you can't, you're just gonna have to wait until you're not gonna. You have to wait till he has a good week. He falls into the end zone twice.
Yeah.
20 carries, 50 yards, and 2 touchdowns because he fell in, and then hope someone just looked at the box score and tries to go for it. All right. So real quick, wide receivers. I told you, Baltimore's defense was pretty bad in the secondary. Jacoby Myers might be a guy you want to look at this week. He's not going to get you a touch. He's not going. Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, he is like a knee, something like that. Sorry, he was limited today.
Yeah,
he'll be all right.
He'll play though. That's Mac Jones' blanket.
He's going to be your guy you want, especially if you play in a PPR. Well, only if you play in a PPR. That's the guy I'm talking about. If you haven't picked him up already, Curtis Samuel is getting targets out the slot, and the Commanders are throwing the ball a ton. So he's a guy you'd want to play, especially against the Eagles, because they're probably going to be playing from behind. And then Garrett Wilson had a breakout game last week. So if the Bengals come in and start scoring points, and Joe Flacco should be starting again this week, Garrett Wilson's the guy you want in your lineup. Tight end, I'm going to go ahead and, since I don't really know, probably want to start David Njoku. You want to start David Njoku?
No, speak into the mic.
You want to start David Njoku? I heard him. Did you see me correcting myself? Why don't you look at the screen next time?
No.
And then your boy Kyle Pitts is going to have a game this week.
I hope. Shit.
He is. No, I'm calling it right now. He's having a game. Gerald Everett is getting massive targets, especially if Keenan Allen's not there. And dare I say, Evan Ingram is getting targets.
When he leads the Giants, he looks all right, right?
Yeah. He learned how to catch. And that's it. That's all
I would say one thing before we go to BK Bets. Why do I always hate on a tight end that you guys like, and then I still draft him, and then it doesn't turn out? I said last year, Darren Waller, he's going to fall off, blah, blah, blah. I get Darren Waller. He's hurt half the damn year. Then I was like, you guys like, Kyle Pitts. I'm like, no, he ain't getting all these damn targets. And then while I'm picking, you guys' voice in my head, he's getting all the targets, Kenny. He's getting all the target. And I pick him up, and he's not getting shit. Damn.
You're the curse, man. Stop drafting our players.
But guess what popped in my head when I was drafting them? You guys' voice. After the fourth tight end, it drops off dramatically. It doesn't end. I'm like, I gotta take it. I got FOMO.
That's still true.
But he's like he's like the 6th or 7th tight end right now, if that.
Yes, but yeah.
Give it time.
He'll get there. Maybe.
All right. Well,
this week he will.
We'll appreciate what happened.
Sorry. I just saw the part you got going.
Well, we appreciate you, Ryan, for Ryan Fantasies. Let me go ahead and go ahead.
BK Bets, go.
Yeah, BK Bets.
I won.
Oh yeah. First of all, Ryan won, so he might give you guys a little sneak peek, like a little celebrity pick on BK Bets, because he actually won last week. Me and Brian did not. So, you got anything right now, hot take, Ryan, or no?
I don't.
No, not up to. He's a spur of the moment. So make sure you guys follow us on Action Sports 2Joes _1 Pro, and then guess what? You can get our picks. So I'm gonna get straight to it. College, yes, Brian, you see it. It's a 5-team parlay. That's what I'm gonna do, right? But I don't want you guys to do the 5-team parlay. I want you to do a 3-team parlay, right? But for the 5 teams that you can choose from, right, I have Michigan at -14. Push it, right? Push it to -14. Take that, right? USC versus Oregon State, 6.5. Take that, all right? Push it. Then you're going to have Ohio State, right? It's at 16.5 right now. I don't like 16.5, right? But you can take 16 or, keep it at 16.5 if you think they win by 17, right? That's kind of how I played in my head. 2 scores and a field goal. That sounds like the Ohio State thing to do. So I like that. And then, Florida is playing at Tennessee, 10.5. I know people are like, oh my gosh, Florida doesn't look good. Johnson Heupel he's got the Tennessee offense going and things like that. But I like Florida to respond back. It's one of those rivalry games. It's going to be intense. I like them to respond back. And then I have one over, right? Over 52.5, Oklahoma versus Kansas State. I like what Oklahoma is doing offensively. I don't really like their defense. Vrabel, he doesn't have the defense ready yet. I know they looked good last week, but I think that the 52.5 is definitely doable. It's either it's a close game and they both score, or Oklahoma score the lights out and they score higher than 52. But yeah, that's what I would have for my 5-team parlay. But I would tell you guys USC, Michigan, Ohio State, right? Or USC, Michigan, and Florida. That's how I would do it for your 3-team parlay. So you guys win money.
Yeah, I just want to point out one thing. I know that I've had a couple bad weeks on this, but we only have to hit 1 in every 6 weeks to break even. I just want you to know, because if you're doing 3-teamers, you're getting about $600 for every 100 that you're betting. Even
2
with
weeks in, he's already making excuses.
No. Even with the 4-teamer, right? That we hit, 4-teamer or 3-teamer that we hit week 1 for the college, for the $50, you're still at $700. So even with me and Ryan's bets together, you're still plus right now, right? So anyway.
Right. All right. I just got a quick 3-teamer this week. I feel really good about it because I just did it. But I will put it in. I will go to the casino. Probably Ryan will be with me. I got Kansas City -5.5. They're at the Colts. Matt Ryan looks like garbage. Kansas City looks right. So that's at least a touchdown victory, if not more. And then I've got 2 overs for you. I have over 47.5 between the Eagles and Commanders. And then I have the over 39 with the Cowboys Giants on Monday night.
An over Monday night?
That's it. Yep. It's only 39.
That's scary for me.
Yeah.
Dude, 20 points a pop? You guys can't score 20 each?
We suck, dude. Did you see our week 1, week 2?
That's what I was saying. Like,
yeah. You scored 20 points each week.
That matter when it comes to the points. They're not going to say, you're close enough. You win the bet. Nah. Fail.
All right. Well, if you don't like it, then figure out a different bet. Nah. But I will say, I was noticing something that's a little weird about the lines right now. Did you know the Ravens are only 2.5-point favorites against the Patriots this week? A little suspect, huh?
Are you saying take the Ravens or the Patriots?
Take the Ravens.
Oh, I'd take the Patriots.
Yeah, he's tripping. He'd take the Patriots. Nah.
Dude,
if anybody's
a gamer, man.
Yeah,
that game last week pisses him off.
If anything, guys, if you don't like that over 39, take the Ravens plus 2.5. Because if Brian says I'll take the Patriots, the Ravens gonna cover. That's what happened.
I don't care where it is.
Patriots beat the Ravens last year.
You said you don't care what the spread is, Ryan?
That was
money line. Do money line.
Okay. How many points you gonna give me? Huh? I'll take you
7.
up on that.
I'll give you 6.5.
6.5. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we have for BK Best, guys. As always, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Hopefully, you guys are doing well in your fantasy. You're taking advice from Ryan. Hopefully, we're keeping you afloat on BK Bets, man. On all the socials, follow us on Instagram. Like, subscribe on YouTube with all our videos. Share with your friends, and we'll catch you guys next week. Good luck at fantasy and your picks for this week. Peace.